In today's video, we'll be diving into a super cute Christmas project together. We'll be using brand new brushes from my Christmas artist studio to create a little scene, a lovely sleigh overflowing with some presents and some cute little mice along for the ride. So grab your iPad and let's get creative and make something adorable and perfect for the holidays. So first off, before we dive into drawing today, I just want to take a quick tour through the studio just so you kind of know what it's all about. I'll just show you here. The pack has 3 textured canvases. There are 8 Christmas palettes that are just like all the examples. There are a nice curated amount of brushes. I didn't want to overwhelm you with a lot of drawing and painting brushes. These are just the essentials for exactly what you'll need to create the images, like all the previews that I've created. So we have just your essential sketchers, some wet media. They're just lovely to work with, a few textured ones, and some snow and whatnot that make it really easy to make these Christmas creations. Some enhancers, these are just a few little extra ones that just create a little bit more vibrancy to some of your line work. Now we have greenery. I'm going to show you how to use these specifically. So I'm just going to actually go to my classic here. I'm just using the Christmas Advent swatches today. They are free. You can go download them from the goodie bag. And I'll leave a link, of course. So I'm just going to use this green and just show you how this greenery works because it is a little bit finicky to get the hang of. Takes a little bit of practice, but I'll show you how to do it. So if you just tap on the greenery, now you'll notice first off my canvas is in this orientation. If it is flipped, it goes a little bit different. So you'll see how it goes in the wrong direction. Here it will go in the correct direction. So this takes a little bit getting used to. So you'll notice that they sometimes go funny at the top, sometimes going quicker makes it work. So you can just go in this direction. And you can easily create your trees like this. So if you go this way, it's a little bit harder. I find going from top to bottom is easier. So like this, and just layering. See, already it looks like an evergreen tree. Super simple, but like I said, it does, you gotta really push with intention to just get that to act like you want it to. So it does take a little bit of practice. Don't worry, it's just be nice to yourself and just see how that looks. That's great. Just take the time, and yeah, you just sometimes have to do it, take a few runs at it. Okay, and then of course I've also done the stamps too, so you can just do one, and maybe that would be easier to place as well, so you could, maneuver that. Well, if you did it on this, so if you created a new layer, and then you can take the one and move it around if you need something specific. So that might be a little bit easier as well, just to create your lovely trees. Okay, so let's see what else we have. That's the greenery. Now the scatter, I'll just change colors, maybe make it blue. You have snowflakes, and so these can be like this kind of one, which is really nice for background. Usually I'll do it on a colored background. Maybe I'll just do the blue and I'll show you with white. Starts to look like snow, which is nice. And we can do a few different ones there like that. You can do snowflakes, so you can make all your fun little backgrounds. And of course I love a star scatter, which makes it all nice and twinkly as well. Okay, so these are lights, of course, so when you're doing like Christmas trees or something like that, that's an easy way to do it, and then you can stamp them individually as well. So just have fun with playing with those. It's just a nice collection, just exactly what you need for some lovely Christmas art. Now the main part of this, of course, I'm just going to go back here. The main part of this pack is the wealth of stamps, so you can quickly draw a load of lovely Christmas goodies. So we have ornaments, gingerbread men, bows, presents, some outerwear, so hats, scarves, gloves, a few little Christmas characters for fun, lots of Christmas foliage, angels, there's a full nativity scene, Christmas trees, toys, Christmas mugs that you can create all fun things with, snowman, the snow globe, and stockings, snowflakes, all sorts of lights, and a load of extras, stars, candy canes, fireplace, Santa's bags, sleigh, boots, and lovely signs, even this Merry Christmas sign. Oops, you can't see because it's white. Let's change that, and there you go. So super easy and fun to do, and let's get started with our sleigh. So I'm just going to grab this sleigh here. I'm just going to have my stamps turn to black. Now the rule is always do one stamp per layer. That way you can move your layers around. Otherwise the stamps are going to be stuck together and that can be a little bit frustrating. So I'm actually going to move this into this direction. I'm going to stamp my sleigh. And of course I just had it at 100%, but you can change it. And then if you need to size it, of course, just use your arrow to size that around. So we'll just have it roughly in the center, sort of. Create a new layer. Then I'm going to go to, let's go almost all the way up. Let's just have a look. We'll find our presents. And I'm going to start with this present 8. It's a stack of presents. So I'm going to make it nice and big. Maybe I'll make it even bigger. So we can just size this, move it. I want it so it's just sitting in there like that. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to get another bunch of presents here. So let's go with this one. And again, just size that. Maybe just have it so it's sort of, well, I'm just trying to see what, maybe that would make a bit of sense there, like that. Okay, and then create a new layer. Let's go and get this present and just size that up. Okay, that's probably good. You can add a load more if you'd like to. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and erase. This is just to have it nice and clean. You don't have to, but this is just so I don't get confused. I'm going to go to this one below, just erase this, and make some decision. Yeah, the bow's going to be under there. I think that this one will be in front of that one. So we can go to this one and just erase that. So if you want to make yourself some notes, if you're making some decisions. So this bow is going to be in front of this present. Now this one, let's see, maybe we'll make it in front of this. So I'm just going to go to the stack here and just do the erasing so that present is in front. Okay, easy peasy. Look how far we've come already. Okay, so let's go ahead and just go to the top and create a new layer, and let's get some little mice friends here. So there's loads to choose from. I'm gonna have this little guy. He's gonna be like he's pushing the sleigh, like they're stealing the sleigh. So he's gonna be pushing it on the ground. So just make sure his feet are roughly where in line. I mean, there's gonna be snow or whatever, so you can kind of have him like that. That works. Okay, and then create a new layer. Let's go get this cute little guy with his little Santa hat. So he can be on top. Let's just make him, well, so he's not falling off here. Maybe he'll be right there in the middle of the bow. Whatever kind of works for you, just he's sitting on there. Create a new layer. And let's get this little happy fella. Look at him, he is excited about the presents, the potential, all they're getting here. Okay, good stuff. So if you'd like, you can do a little bit of erasing again, just to keep it clear for yourself. So I'm just gonna erase the bow in behind here. Okay. Everything else, I guess the sleigh we can do too. We can just, well, it'll just be where his ear is really for how mine's worked out. I might not draw his tail like that because that's sort of interfering. So I might just erase that on him as well and probably add a tail in later just because that was too many curls all in one spot. So, all right, looking good. Okay, now go ahead and create a new layer. Let's just add a little bit of foliage here. Maybe we'll go and grab, let's see, we can use our evergreen for some greenery. Why don't we just have a little bit of berries here. And we'll just turn this, maybe make that a little bit bigger. And let's see, you can manipulate these stamps as well. Don't be afraid just to make them your own. This is the whole point. It's not to draw it exactly. Just use them as a guide and then an inspiration and move it from there. So if you need to like manipulate it a little bit, by all means. So you can just go to your magic wand, go to liquify. I'm going to be in push. The size is just approximate. I'm just going to make this so this curves up a little bit to suit kind of what we're doing. So you can manipulate these as much as you want. All right. Now, and when we're coloring in, I will use the greenery. I'll have to probably adjust my canvas to do it easily, but we'll use our little brush for that. Okay, so now we have a lovely composition all ready to go. That saves us a load of time, and also it's just nice to be inspired instantly, just, you know, have some ideas come to you right away. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, since I'm happy with where they are, I don't need to move them anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and pinch these layers together, just if I can. Sometimes it doesn't want to work. There we go. So they're all on one layer. So now I can just go and use those as guides. You don't want to use these for your artwork. You just want to use them to trace over. So what we're going to do is just turn down the opacity so we can see, and then create a new layer. I'm just going to bring that below, and then we can go ahead and start drawing. So again, with this Christmas Advent palette, I'm just going to use this brown color there. And then I'm going to go to my Christmas Artist Studio, all my actual drawing and painting brushes. I'm going to use the Go-To Sketcher. It's an easy, nice one that all-arounder that works really well. And so I'm just going to outline everything. So that's all we need to do here. Probably could add a few, like some eyes to these guys. I've given you kind of a general area where I would suggest they would be. But of course you can change that up. It's not holding to that. I'm just going to make my size around 15. I think that's going to be good for this. I mean, you can make this, you know, a little fluffy if you'd like on this hat, little fur bits. I want a little bit of texture. Maybe I'll make it smooth here because it's kind of the underside of where his head is. So we'll just trace away and then, you know, add a little bit, add your own touches here and there. Try not to be stifled by the stamps, like let them just inspire you and get you going in the direction, but not limit your creativity. Okay, he's got this little nose here. And let's see, I think I'll just do maybe like, I'll just have squinty little eyes here. Maybe his eyebrows will be kind of up. Oh, he's so happy. It's going to be pretty small, so you're not going to read this too much. This little happy smile. All right. His little hands. Just add the little detail you want there. It's not much. Again, you got to zoom back and see what you're going to actually see. So the detail does not need to be overboard here when the character is quite small in relation to the whole composition. He'll probably need a few little whiskers, so we can just give him a few like that. That's good. All right. Not sure that connects there. Okay, I think that's probably good for him. Like I said, you see how that's plenty of details. You might want to have a few little wispies here just to show even more motion. Sometimes that helps a little bit. Okay, let's go to this little guy here. And I don't think you might not even see his eyes. So a few little fluffy bits. give him a kind of change the shape of his feet if you want. All right. All right, let's see. Not sure. Maybe you'd see his eyes. Maybe not. Let's just put his little whiskers in here. Okay. Good stuff. Guess I'll just do the mice first. Why not? Doesn't really matter what order you go in. Maybe a little bit worried because he's stealing after all. All right, and maybe his tail will go around there. You can, see, I don't really like that. It's competing too much. Maybe it should just be, maybe just like that. No, it's kind of weird. I don't know. His tail needs to go maybe just like that. However you think, just so it's not super competing with all that. Okay, let's carry on. We can just do our sleigh here. Just trace. This is kind of relaxing because you don't have to think too much. Just always nice. A little brain break. So I'll do it this way. It's easier for me to drag my pen in this direction. Always just make it easy for yourself. Okay. And then we'll come into here. We didn't really erase this, but that's okay. So actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I'm going to put this on top because I remember I want to paint our greenery below. So I'm going to do this on a separate layer so it can be on top of our sleigh, and then I can paint the green below. So let's just leave that and do that separately at the end. So you can go, it doesn't matter if you go all the way through here because like I said, it'll be on top. Maybe it should be behind there. Okay, so we have all our main bits. Now let's just do this floral arrangement here. So I'm just going to create a new layer on top of my line work. And let's just do this. Make sure you have your brush. You can do them nice and rounded. All right. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to take this line here, and actually I'll just name it line work full, just so it's like the full thing here. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to tap on the N, change it to color burn. I'm going to go to my magic wand, go to Gaussian blur. See up here? It says 0%. I'm going to make it, let's see, 3%. And then I'm going to go to the original line work full, change it to multiply, and bring down the opacity to around 50%. I'm going to turn off my guide there. So you can see how it changes it from this to this. Just gives it more of a baked in, old-fashioned kind of look. It's just the aesthetic I'm going for. And I kind of like it. All right, so I'm going to do that with this one too. I'll just say, what is it, berries, I guess. Berries. And so we'll duplicate that, tap on the N, change the mode to color burn, tap on your magic wand, Gaussian blur, up to 3%. Back to your original berries layer, change it to multiply, and to 50%. All right, so now we're all ready to color in. All right, so let's just create a new layer, drag it below all of this. I'm actually gonna just group this together, these berries, because that will be one sort of group, and this will be what we're working on. I'll just name this berries again, just so we have it out of the way. In fact, I can just turn that off, and that's even easier. Okay, so back to our fill layer here, our new layer that we just created. We have it at the bottom. I'm going to go and I'll get just this red and use this filler. This is just a great easy peasy filler just to start with. You know, you adjust the size so that you can fit in here. These little areas, it's going to be a 4. I'm filling all the way to my line work, so it goes underneath it. I can bring it up a little bit more as I get into some wider territory here. And just start to fill in, super simple. Okay, and then once you have a completed shape, we can just drag that in and fill it in. I'm going to create, so I'm just going to say Sleigh, main, I guess, the main body of it. I can create a new layer. Let's use this gold for now. Let's just do this. Oh, the metal work, kind of. Because it could be metal or wood, I suppose. Okay, so then we can fill that in, and still on the same layer, we can do all of this part as well. So we'll try to save our layers as much as possible. Okay, it takes a minute. All right, let's go ahead and create, we'll just say, I'll just name iron because it's the metal part, I guess. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new layer. We'll just rename it mice, and let's just do their bodies. I should have probably named it mice bodies. We'll just use this brown color to start with. I might make them gray, but we can just, I'm just blocking it in right now. It's not necessarily the colors it will be. I'm gonna leave out his hat and scarf, so it's a little bit easier. I mean, you can have it all on one fill layer if you'd like, but then you just have to be a little bit more mindful with your painting, which you can absolutely do. But this is just an easy way to do it if you have room for enough layers. just his head and body and arms there. We'll leave out the hat. Same with this. Okay, so I have 3 little mice. Let's create a layer on top. We'll just say hats. I know there's a scarf in there, but that's okay. Let's grab this pink and we'll just maybe do this part. Maybe I will have the furry bit separate too. All these little finicky bits in here. Over to this hat, so we'll just do this bit and I guess I'll name it fur. You know what I mean, the furry bits of the hat. I'll just grab this blue, not that this is what we'll end up with, but so you can see it, just make it a little bit. I'm just doing little dots so that we have little stripes, just so it's a little bit fluffy. Again, it's such a small little thing, you're not gonna read it too clearly from far away, so just have it a little bit lumpy, and that's more than enough. Okay, so now we're on to the presents. So what I'm going to do is each sort of box shape I'm going to have on a separate layer, but we can have all the ribbons on a layer unto themselves and have that on the top. So we'll try to be mindful of layers, but yeah, we're going to have to do these one at a time. So go to the bottom to the Sleigh main layer, create a new layer, and just drag that below. So everything's going to be behind the sleigh, so that we don't have to worry about painting on top. So you can still remain with this blue color, that's fine. We'll just start with this present and we'll just do this box. Now, what we can do, if it's not too confusing, if you want to keep them all separate, that's fine. But what I would do to manage layers, if we're trying to have as few as possible, I would actually color something else in that doesn't touch this. So I wouldn't do this one because I can't separate the colors. But if I do this one, then I can make this a different color. In fact, I can, paint it a different color if I wanted to. But I can color drop into here without affecting this layer, this blue shape. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I have that like this, now I have them on the same layer. You can see it's blue and pink. But I want to change this color, or I want to do something else to it. I can just simply drag into there. It doesn't affect this. So as long as they're not touching, if they were, then the whole thing would be green. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with that. I'll just go back to blue. It doesn't really matter of what color it is, but we're going to go and do this one because, again, this isn't touching any of them. So that's easy. And so same thing applies. So these two obviously are going to be affected because it touches this. So we won't do that. I'm going to do this one here because it's not affecting anybody. So that's easy. Okay. All right. So all of those, I can change color. I can paint over without affecting anything around it. So let's go ahead and create a new layer on top, and we can use a different color. I'm going to use this one. So this bit here, this fill won't affect this fill. Won't affect this one, so they can all be on the same layer. And this one. So that way, we're going to have one more layer here. We'll have, 3 layers for the boxes instead of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's a way of conserving layers. So create one more, just get a different color just so you can see. And we'll just do this. It's all by itself, which is fine. And then we can do our ribbon layers. So create one more layer here. We'll name it ribbon. And we can go and grab, again, whatever color you wish. I'm just gonna use this light pink. And none of these are touching, I hope. So we should be in the clear. And we can just do this here. Okay, and this guy. Okay, and we are all blocked in. Yay! Okay, so we're not going to leave it like this. I'm not exactly loving how it all looks. It's just to get it all solid fill so we can paint whatever we want on top. So we can go ahead and actually change the colors. So you can do it one of two ways. You can go ahead and drop in just a white, or even easier, you can go ahead with all the layers. Just go to your magic wand, go to hue, saturation, and brightness. Just change everything to max brightness, and that just changes everything on that layer to white. So it's just a little bit easier when you have multiple things. So every layer, go tap on the layer, magic wand, hue, saturation, brightness, brightness all the way up. And I know what you're saying, wow, it looks like we've done nothing. But now we have a nice fill to go and do clipping masks on top of and give some nice painterly effects. So just tap on the iron, bring the brightness up. The mice, up, hats, and lastly, the fur. Okay, so it looks like we are back to where we started. But that's not the case, as you know. So just go tap on the sleigh, create a new layer on top, tap on it, clipping mask. So we can go and get this lovely red color. Let's get one of the paint brushes. This one's a lovely one to do all your work with, but if you're just kind of wanting more of a texture, just quick overview. The dried edges is a nice one to start with. So you can just make it nice and big so you can see there's a texture to it. So we can just give that a little paint, easy peasy. And it's not just the solid, it has a little bit of grit to it. And I'm going to create a new layer, tap on that, make it a clipping mask so it's right above. Go to this darker red here, go to the soft bloom, and my brush is about 40. Just give that edge a nice Nice little shadow. Bring it down smaller, maybe under here. And just give it like it's a little bit of a shadow from the upholstery being pushed in maybe. Now if you're like this is a really easy way just to blend out your color if you want. Go to your magic wand, Gaussian blur, look at the percentage, just look here, just something where it looks kind of nice. Mine's going to be at 11. So you can see that just maybe 15, easy peasy, tap on the magic wand to get out and you're blended. Super simple. Let's go to the iron, create a new layer on top of the iron, make it a clipping mask. Let's get this gold color, but I'm just going to use that as a starting place. I'm going to go up and to the left a little bit, just so it's lighter. I'm going to still stay on the soft bloom, just dash that in there like that. Lovely, just so it looks painted, you know. And then we can do the bits under here. That's all coming together. Kind of my brush a little bit small, kind of a bit bigger than this, but anyway. It's all good. Looks painted. Now I'm going to create a new layer, make it a clipping mask on top of that gold color. Let's go back to the original gold and grab this lovely blending painter and make sure it's at 100%. Mine just happened to be down. I'm at around size 13 or so. You can just, again, with a lot of my blending brushes, you push and then lighter pressure to blend. So push for paint, ease up to blend. Just let's give this nice shadow underneath. Just keep it easy and smooth here. Always blend it out later if you don't get the blending quite right the first time. Use your smudge tool if you wish. I might actually do that on purpose so I can show you that. I have a brush here that I've called water. It literally is that. Like if I went to, you know, paint, it doesn't do any, like you won't see paint color, but it acts as just like literally adding water to it. So it acts as a blender. You can use this as in your smudge tool if you wanted to go and use that. Here, it acts a little bit differently, so it's kind of fun to play with. Just the, whoops, it's quite big, isn't it? So you can smudge that out. It's just like adding water. It gives it a little bit of a, yeah, well, watery effect. So it's kind of fun if you want to do that. Okay, back to the blending painter. We'll just do a little shadow under here. Just trying to think of where it logically would be. Here we're not worrying too much, of course, because that's where our flower is going to be. Underneath. Just gonna scrub it and then blend it out a bit. Making a little bit of a mess there. Just when you do those fills, you're just so free to paint so easily afterwards. I know it's a lot of kind of prep work, and it is, but it's kind of worth it in the end. All right. I think we might end up putting some snow on top of here anyways, so I'm not too worried about the bottom, but it's all good. Just add these little touches. It makes a nice difference. Okay, lovely. Now let's carry on to, let's see, we'll go to the mice, create a new layer, make it a clipping mask. I think I kind of want them more, a little bit more gray, so maybe try this one here. Just bring it up and to the left, sort of a browny gray. Let's try that. Let's go back to the grayed, or the dried edges rather. Just, yeah, it's probably nice. I think they probably should all be maybe similar. I'm not going to go overboard with detailing them too much because we'll have patterns and whatnot on our presents. So let's just give them a little love with another layer, clipping mask. Just get a white, get the soft bloom. Maybe we'll have him have a bit of a whiter tummy, a whiter face here. So maybe like that. And actually color in his ear a little bit because I'd like to put some pink in there. So maybe just lightening it up actually helps the pink show through a bit more. Let's see. Maybe this guy will have a little white tummy too, a little white face. You know, sort of the lower bit. Not so much his eyes. Okay. Yeah, and maybe here, I was gonna add the white just to the ears. Okay, and then we can come in with, try this light pink and just move it over a little bit more, just so it's a little bit warmer, I think. A little bit more pinky pink. Just add to their ears. Keep adjusting my brush, it's pretty small. And then while we're here, we can give them little rosy cheeks, if you'd like. And then maybe a little bit of pink in here. Okay, I'm going to go to my blending painter, still with the pink. Maybe I might just make their little toesies, little feet, little pink too. Oh, that's good. Lovely. Okay, one last layer for these guys, well, as far as their bodies anyway. So create a new layer on top, make it a clipping mask. Get that original color that we tweaked for the gray. And with your blending painter still, let's just give them a little bit of a shadow here. Just in around, maybe underneath the chin. The back here, of course, will be more in shadow. I'm going to go grab that water, just add a little bit of water here, just to help blend that. That's good. That's all we need. Back to the blending painter. Let's try to go on the right side of everything, so it's just keeping it consistent so everything's the same. Lovely. All right. Blend that out a little bit. Okay, that's great. So let's just do their little hats, and I'm just going to create a new layer on top, make it a clipping mask. We'll kind of keep it in the reds, but I'm just going to make it a little bit more purpley, this color. I can still remain with my blending color here. All right, while we're there, I can just go down and to the right. Maybe we can just give it a little shadow. Doesn't need too much, really. Okay. And then with the fur, just create a new layer, make it a clipping mask. Now I'm going to go and get this blue, but let's just make it a touch more gray. So over, just straight over to the left. Get this textured painter here. Just make sure your opacity's up. Simply just give it a little bit so it's not just like on the edge and on the bottom. See how that just finishes that off a little bit. Okay, oh, I forgot about a scarf. Sorry about that. So go back to the hats layer and you can get this color and we can get the blending painter and we can just color that scarf in. I missed that. Down to the right, just create that darker shadow, and if you just can put a few little shadows in there. Okay, moving along. Okay, on to the presents. So let's go and find our presents. They're all the way down below. And let's just start with our first layer here. Create a new layer, clipping masks. And we will start, let's think maybe this pink. And we'll use the dried edges. Just give this a color in. And let's see what else we can do. So I know this is up here. I don't want the same one. Maybe this lid. Well, I kind of want to have them echoing. So I'm thinking maybe the pink over here would be nice. So I can go to the layer on top, which is this one. You can see that this little rim here is that. So create a new layer, make it a clipping mask. So maybe that, I'm just trying to get some color balance going here. I can also use my bows for that as well. Back to this one at the bottom, our first one. And let's see, let's do maybe sort of this beigey gold color, this one here, maybe bring it up into the left a little bit. Let's just see about that. All right. I might just have that echo in a ribbon. And then up the top, maybe this nice purple color. That could be good. Okay. And thinking, where could I put purple again? Maybe here. So back to this one up here. So this will help. This one, you're just kind of seeing where your shapes are here. Sometimes trial and error. If you've forgotten which ones you've done, that's okay. All right. And let's see what else. I'm trying to keep it a little bit more neutral, like harmonious, sort of on one side of the color wheel here. Okay, so we are looking harmonious. So let's go ahead and maybe start doing the ribbons to see where we're at. So tap on the ribbons, create a new layer, and make it a clipping mask. I would like to bring in, yeah, so maybe this purple, we can go ahead and do that there. Can do another pass and make it a little bit darker too. And we can do, I like some gold ribbons as well. So we can do this gold up and to the left and just make that a little bit lighter. Kind of nice. And maybe here. Maybe I'll keep that white actually. Then use this pink. Let's just see about that. Maybe do 2 passes. Okay, now let's go ahead and do some patterns. So let's go to our original one here, this one, and we can just create a new layer, tap on it, clipping mask. And we can have maybe a nice, let's just start with white. So let's go to the scatter brushes here and try some of these snowflakes. So maybe we'll select this one here. You can be random. Just do that until you're happy. And if you want them even brighter, you can always duplicate the layer just to make them a little bit brighter, depending on what's happening with the brushes. And again, duplicate again and pinch together to make them even brighter. All right, let's see where we're at here. Let's go to this layer here. Now this one I'm going to, so tap on this layer, create a new layer, clipping mask. Let's go to the gold and go to the star scatter. And we can just make some lovely stars. You can bring it smaller so your brush is a little smaller. And they will scatter, so you kind of have to strategically place them a little bit. Okay, perfect. And then let's see. If we turn off our background, we can tell what we've got going here. Maybe that would be a little bit easier to see. So when you tap on and off, you can tell exactly where you are at. Now, I'm actually going to go with this gold and go up to my go-to sketcher. Maybe let's just do some simple stripes. I think I'm still on 15, yes. And I'll just do a few stripes. Okay. And let's see. Here, do we do a pattern? Maybe. We can go ahead and get this pink. Maybe we'll do, oops, that's on the ribbon layer. Okay. Then maybe we'll do a nice little pattern on this here. So I'm going to go to the ribbon layer above the coloring here. So I'm just going to create a new clipping mask. And then still with this go-to sketcher, grab this pink here. Let's just do, let's see, I'm going to do actually, let's do the dried, actually go ahead and select the dried edges. And I'm going to make this a lot smaller to see what size, maybe about a size 5 or 6. We can just draw relatively straight lines. We just have the edges a little bit. Okay. Okay, and then still with the dried edges, go and get white. Make your brush opacity about 50. Turn it this way, and you can kind of do a bit of a subtle plaid here. Like that. And then you can go and get, let's see, maybe the gold. And we'll go to the go-to sketcher, and you can kind of bring in a bit of a pattern. Just a thin line here, just offsetting that. And we're probably going to need another line detail to finish it. Like maybe we'll get this pink again, and you'll kind of do a line here. Oops, I'm kind of forgetting where I'm supposed to be going. There we go. All right, just a little bit of a pattern, whatever you wish, be creative. Okay, and then let's go and let's see. Why don't we do some more patterns? Maybe this one, of course, needs something because it's just white. So we can go to our pattern part here. And maybe we'll bring in, let's remain on this pink. And let's go down to our scatter brushes and see what we can do. Maybe we'll do these snowflakes. That's kind of neat. So you can make it big, or if you don't want to use the scatter brushes, you can go to the stamps as well and find wherever the snowflakes are. Here we go. So you can pick from the snowflakes here. And you can just stamp them. That might be easier, you know, because they just can kind of control them a bit easier and make them all a bit irregular. So yeah, you might want to give that a go, because then you can control that. Okay, looking good. Let's just see with our background on what else we need to do. Obviously this one. Let's see, what kind of pattern should we do? I do kind of like a stripe. Can do more, maybe a bolder stripe on that. Let's see, is it this one? Try this one. Nope, it was all by itself, that's why. Right, okay. So create a new layer on this guy here. Tap on it, clipping mask. Let's go, still with this pink, maybe back to our artist studio here and go and grab the go-to sketcher. Maybe we can do, actually I'm changing my mind, sorry. Go to the dried edges. Make sure your opacity is all the way back up. And let's just do a nice bold stripe. We're going to do it at about a 6. It's not exact, 5, 6, 7, somewhere around there. And away we go. Okay, I think that's probably sufficiently patterned. Now we just want to do some shading. So let's go all the way back to this one here. Tap on your pattern layer, create a new layer, make it a clipping mask, tap on the N to make it, oops, I'm going the wrong way, multiply. Actually, let's do linear burn, and then we can use maybe the pink, stay on the pink, go to soft bloom. Let's just see, might have to bring our brush up a little bit to about 18. I'm going to bring the opacity down to about 50%. So I can layer this a bit. So just give yourself a little shadow here, shadow here. So the linear burn is going to take on a few different little properties, but it's still going to be a bit pink. So it's going to kind of bring all this together, but still going to give you that shadow there. Okay, and this one is over here as well. So a little shadow there. See how that makes that nice? Because I want that to look a little bit rounded. Okay, next one above here, so this pattern here, tap on that, create a new layer, tap on it, make it a clipping mask, tap on the end to make it linear burn. I'm going to still remain with the pink because it's actually going to tie everything together. So let's just remember what is on this one. Okay, so I'll have a little shading under here, shading here. Where else is it? Over there. A little bit under there. Okay, looking good. Now to this one, create a new layer, clipping mask, tap on the end to linear burn, and that's just going to give that a little shadow in there. All right, now we just have our ribbons. So go up to the ribbon section, create a new layer, clipping mask. Let's just do the linear burn again. I'm going to go to, for this time, I'm going to go to the blending painter just so I can have a little bit more control over where these shadows are. So kind of underneath in the center there. Okay, so this will have under here. Maybe I have my brush a little bit bigger to about close to 30. Makes it easier for blending if it's a little bit bigger. And then if you need to add some water, go for it. Okay. Back to the blending painter. Okay. And I'll just use the water just to gently blend that out a little bit if I need to. Okay. All right. Oh, I didn't do this one. Let's just go back to blending painter. And just if that needs a little bit, I don't think it needs too much, but that's probably about it. Now I haven't forgotten, but we do have, after 5 million layers here, the berries. So I'm going to bring those back. I'm going to go into this layer here, or this group here, and create a new layer. Bring it below. Sometimes you have to bring, see, that always happens to me. So if it happens to you, you know what the easiest thing is, just to bring these on top of the layer, because I don't like to go below for some reason. Anyways, we will do this. So grab that layer, and then I'm just going to go ahead and with this red, actually maybe this one, so we have a little bit of a different color. Grab the filler, because we're going to, obviously these will be bouncing off the green, but I can just fill them in for now. And then use the green color to fill this in. So I missed some berries here to get that. Actually, this part I'm going to color in brown because it'll just be easier. Actually, I'm going to do that. These little stick parts I do want brown. So you can just fill those in like that. Okay, and then the berries. Make sure they're in there. All right. See, that just adds a little bit of color and a little bit of contrast, so that's good. And then I'm going to create a new layer, and as promised, let's do, see that pops out of the group. It's kind of frustrating to me. So I put it in there and then I just bring that one above. That way it goes below, remains in the group. It's a little bit finicky, but that's okay. Let's just use this green. Okay, so let's go to the greenery. Let's just see which one I want. What suits? One's a little bit more realistic than the other. Let's see. Now you see how I can't get it to go the right way? So all you have to do is turn your canvas. And then we can be on the right direction here. See how big we want it. It's hard to get that first one out of the way. So just, see, you've got to just be in the right direction. Sometimes trying it out in other directions. I find the pull usually works, but sometimes push does. Let's see, is that too much? Maybe. Maybe that's good, just like that. Okay. Oops. So there's probably enough greenery. And you can change that too, since it's on another layer. I can make it a little bit smaller if I need to. It doesn't have to be quite so big. It sort of fits a little bit nicer like that. All right, now let's just do some little bit of coloring with this here. So create a new layer on top, make it a clipping mask. Use this green and bring it up and to the left just to make it a little bit lighter. Let's go and grab, let's see, maybe the soft bloom. Just give it a little bit of, oops, our opacity is down, so bring up your opacity. Just lighten some of this. It's not all blocky color. Okay, just gonna erase some of this because it went on my berries and I don't want that. All right, and then we can go and get the blended painter. Sorry, I just make sure I show you the blended painter there. And you can just add a few lines maybe. And let's see, I'm going to create a new layer, tap on it, clipping mask, tap on the end and make it add, then go to this pink here. It's probably going to be too bright, but let's see. So you can bring down your opacity of your brush to about 50% and just do some circles to create this highlight. That'll make the berries pop. Just having really light pressure. And just play with that opacity if you need to, if it's too bright. All right, I'm gonna move my opacity back up. While I'm just thinking about things, I'm gonna tap on the greenery below, create a new layer, make it a clipping mask, use this dark green, go to the soft bloom. Let's just have it so there's a bit more of a shadow here, right? Because you can just go over top. Actually, I think I'm gonna make it, change the blending mode to maybe multiply. So you can kind of just give a little bit. I've gone a little bit too much now. I'm gonna have to change this back again to multiply. Make sure my clipping mask remains. Just maybe, like I don't want it all perfectly solid. I just want a little bit of depth here maybe. Let's kind of a little bit of contrast. I'm just dashing on a bit. I could even go, and if I want it speckly, you could go into your scatters, maybe do some snowflakes and make some little spots, you know, a little bit of texture if you want, and get creative. Okay. Alrighty. I think I'm actually going to go to the berries, this CB, so the color burn one. I find that just, you can see the contrast because it's against such dark stuff, the contrast is just too dark. It's kind of sticking out more than the others. So I'm just going to take this CB layer and just bring it, see, dial it down a bit. It's just making that a little less standing out. You can just kind of play around with that just so it matches, balances what else is going on in our scene, because that shouldn't be just the only thing that sticks out. Okay, so we can go and do a few things here. I want to actually put a bunch of highlights on this, but instead of going individual layer by individual layer, which would take us a while and a lot of layers to do it, I'm going to do it all in one. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my canvas, turn off the background color, go to the wrench, go to add, say copy canvas, and we've copied exactly what's here. Now, while I'm at the top, just go to the wrench, say paste. So now we have a duplicate of everything. So this is just everything that we've done all on one layer. Now I can just affect this one layer easily with one simple layer on top. So let's just go ahead and turn back our canvas, turn back our background color. So I'm going to create a new layer, change it to add, make it a clipping mask. I'm going to just go to the gold and just bring it up here, somewhere around there. Back to my blending painter. And this layer, I'm probably going to have it at 50%. We'll just start there. So we can make, see how this is happening, some nice highlights on here. My brush is probably needs to be a little bit smaller, maybe about 20. See how that goes? Just adds a little extra sparkle on all these little bits here, just like we did with the berries. We can do here. We could have done it all together, but I kind of wanted to make the berries actually look like they weren't just a flat shape. So on the edge of the bows, the ribbons here, just really simple. Just making them look shiny. Just use my smudge tool just to, I think that's a little bit too harsh. I can also play with my opacity here if I'm finding this too much, sort of whatever is comfortable for you. And you can always just do this and use your smudge. My smudge is on the water brush. Just a little bit easier there. Maybe this little hat. You know, it just makes this sparkle a little bit more, which is what we want. So it's kind of like shiny paper maybe. Adding that little extra bit. Same with here. You can just smudge it out if it's gone out of control. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm just going to give this, oh, I can do it a little bit more in lots of places actually. I'm just smudging out the edges and leaving the center a little bit more burnt, so to speak. Maybe it'll be a little bit in here. Okay, you know, have all these wonderful bits. Okay, so now right below, because we actually can turn off all these layers because this is, we already have our copy on top, but we can just go tap on the berries, do a layer below, and go and get this sort of, let's see, this beigey color here. That's good. And we'll go and get the soft bloom. Just make sure it's at 100%. We'll just sort of give our background a little color in here. Then I'm going to go to this blue here and create a new layer. So many layers. And I'm just going to kind of go around the edges like that. And then go to my magic wand, Gaussian blur. Bring up that way high so it just really blends in. Mine's at 65. Do you see how that kind of goes? Kind of neat, sort of vignette look. Okay. Then at the very top, we can go and get pure white. Go to our fallen snow. And we can just paint in a bit of snow here. Now you might want to do 2 passes depending on how opaque you want it. I did make it so you can have that option. So just take another pass. And there you go. And then you can also do a little bit of this light blue. Still the fallen snow. You can, actually maybe that's a little bit dark. We bring it up all the way. You can kind of put little bits in here so it's like a little bit of shadows. Just dashing it in just so you have it slightly bumpy. Okay, keep going here down to this layer here below your actual full drawing, your full canvas. Create a new layer. Tap on it. Let's go get the gold all the way up. So just a nice yellow color. Let's bring in our star scatter, and let's see, actually have them a little bit more white than that. Let's just see, and at 100%. So I'm just going to go around, do those like that. Now, one thing I do have done in a lot of the previews, I'd take that, I duplicate it, change it to add. The layer below, like the original one, go to the magic wand, you guessed it, Gaussian blur it out a little bit. And then you can bring that add layer just down a little bit. It just creates a little bit more of a glow look if you want that. We can also create a new layer on top. It doesn't actually matter. On top is fine. With the white, and bring in our snowflakes here. If you want those nice and big, just add that magical look. And I think that is it. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial and found it interesting to see how this whole pack works and how you can make some lovely Christmas goodies out of it. So if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me tremendously. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.